So, an improvement exchange just means we're going to go buy something, build things. Escrow holdbacks do not work. Okay, so you can't say, gee, I'm buying this property for $1 million. It needs $100K in work. We're going to have $100,000 left as an escrow holdback. Do the work later. I never touch the money. That doesn't work. It's got to be complete at the time of transfer. So we can, if we need to do an improvement exchange, we're going to either maybe build that purchase, that $100,000 into the purchase price, get the seller to do the work. If they don't want to do that, or you don't want them to do that, then you've got a choice. If you're pulling 100, you're going to pay tax on 100, or we do an improvement exchange, which means we're going to create that EAT, once again, exchange combination title holder, the LLC that'll take ownership, do the improvements, and then convey the improved property back to the taxpayer. The improvements, we're going to describe the property and the improvements to the best of our ability. You're going to build a 3,000 square foot single family rental of X dollars. That's what you're putting on there. Does the project have to be done to be, satisfy your exchange? No, but only what is done, only what constitutes real property at the 180th day is going to qualify. In a market like we're in, you're saying, gee, I've got a property that I no longer want. I've got a property over here I'd like to build on. Can I take proceeds from this sale over here to improve this property over here? You ask most people, they're going to tell you, no, you can't do that. So we look at the laws and we say, okay, when I look at an exchange, what were my 4 cornerstones? 1, it's got to be an exchange. 2, what's going to be received have to be of like kind. Any real property held for investments like kind with any real property is your intent to hold for investment. 3, we've got to have continuity of vesting. Once again, actually 4 is continuity of vesting. 3 is the napkin test, value and equity across or up. 4, we've got to have the taxpayer that relinquishes receives. So if we look at taking property, and we're going to take one, get rid of it. So we're going to take it, comes into us, you gave it to us, we sold it, we now have money there. And we know we've got 45 and 180 to get you new property of equal or greater value back. You say, I've got this dirt over here I want to build on. Now the nice thing about that is, if you bought a piece of property in Multnomah County today, how long would it take you to be able to build anything on it?
6 months.
I don't know if anyone in here is young enough. Yeah, maybe Cece is. Anyway, the deal is it takes time. If you own the property already, you can be prepping it, planning, prepping, getting all the permitting, everything in place, and as soon as the property sells, boom, we hit the ground running. Or, and I grew up in Santa Cruz, California, so anytime the surf was up, the contractors disappear. What happens here? We've got snow, we've got hunting season, things like that happen, right? Changes. But let's say we've got time, that it's harder to build through the winter than the summer, and so you're timing the transaction, you time your sale to fit. Anybody familiar with Stafford Hill Swim and Racket Club? Okay, you play swimming, you swim, you play tennis, you probably know it below Meridian Park. The owner, developer of that project came to us in the middle of the recession, says, hey, I want to exchange out of some apartments I've got into this project. I said, well, that's great, but I don't think you're going to get your building sold, because nothing was selling, right? Nothing could be moved. So what we do? I said, go ahead and buy the dirt, get everything planned out, permitted, get it all figured out. When your building sells, then we'll start this exchange process. So by doing that, the dirt, the underlying dirt was already owned. Okay, so the dirt no longer counts as an upleg for that property that's going away. So when this property sells today, this apartment complex, when it did sell, it came in, they'd done everything, including the grading, plan, permitting, all the engineering, everything was set to go, it was graded. So when that building sold, they hit the ground running, and we just went vertical with it right away. It's a giant erector set, so we burned a pile of money very, very quickly in that scenario. Did the project get completed within 180 days? No, but it didn't have to. All that had to be completed is, in that scenario, I don't know, it's like $8 or $10 million worth of improvements. That's what needed to get done.
What constitutes a test for improvement? Is it a pile of receipts? Is it a new appraisal?
Well, I'd have the receipts, I'd have pictures taken, I'd have completion certificates, any occupancy permits, if they were in place. You're going to document what's there. So the underlying dirt did not count. just what constituted real property come 180th day, that's what qualified towards the exchange. We couldn't get to day 175 and say, gee, I've got $500,000 sitting here, I'm gonna go prepay labor and material and have that work. That would not qualify. Only what is real property at that time of transfer. So you're gonna document it however you can. When we're done with a transaction like that, basically we're gonna have a whole ledger, because every improvement, we're talking about improvement exchange. Once again, we create the entity. In this scenario, pre-2000, remember I got guidelines in 2000 for reverse exchanges. One of those safe harbors prohibited your receipt of property already owned as a replacement for property being relinquished. So prior to that, what would happen is the property to be improved would be deeded over to us. The proceeds from the sale, the property goes away, comes in, it goes away, we take the money, do the improvements, and deed the improved property back to the taxpayer, completing the transaction. Rev Proc 2000-37 prohibited that. So we went round and round, and Ron said, hey, how about this? How about we'll use this leasehold interest? Remember we went back to the like-kind page, and I said make note of the 30-year lease. 30-year leasehold interest in real property constitutes real property. So now today what we do is we create the LLC, we create a lease. It has to be either a term of 30 years or extensions to 30 years. Gets us up to that level that constitutes receipt of real property. We then build out the improvements and convey those leasehold improvements back to our taxpayer by midnight the 45th day. Those leasehold improvements are truly new real property that our client has never owned. That's the idea. So if anyone ever questions it, you say, okay, what's the definition of real property? What's like kind? What did they receive? And by law, on every level, you can check that box. With that said, do I want you to run out and do these transactions without talking to your tax and legal people? Absolutely not. Because what we're going to do is we're going to send you the information. We're going to send you a step-by-step of how you do it. We're going to send you the case law talking about it, both good and bad, and you're going to talk to your tax and legal people about it. And the idea is we want your tax people to be happy with it, because if you're ever audited, the idea is if you're ever audited, you want to be doing things proactively rather than reactively. You want your tax people to know this is what we did, why we did it, now, not come the audit. All right? Any questions on that? So only the improvements count towards the exchange. If you want the underlying dirt to count towards the exchange, then we have to have it part of the acquisition through the exchange. So a leasehold improvement allows you to improve property that you own today, which happens a lot because the market's tight, people are not finding what they want. Maybe you want to do, a attached dwelling unit on the back. We've done those. So we enter into a lease at a portion of that property. So it doesn't have to be all new stuff, it can just be capital improvements to an existing thing, but only that new real property, the new stuff that's of like kind, is going to qualify.